is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show. Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
And now, your host, Kyle Youmans.
Today is January 30th, 2025, and we are 84 days away from the NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Welcome into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite. Alongside Tommy Yarrish and Nick Harris, I'm Kyle Youmans. One more day here from the Reese's Senior Bowl and Radio Row, which means we get some exclusive guests along the way. And now we've got Jack Kaiser, Notre Dame linebacker, joining us. Jack, we were just talking off air for a moment. The run to the national championship feels like it was yesterday because it was basically yesterday. A longer season along the way. Tell us what the quick turnaround has been like for you and a lot of these other NFL draft prospects to play such a long season and then turn it around and get into draft mode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, for in my case, it's been awesome, right? I was healthy coming out of the season, and so the last month and a half, it feels like every 10 days I've been playing in a big-time game. Well, after the national championship, this is kind of another 10-day window to play in another big game. Body feels great. Mentally, I'm sharp. I'm still in football mode, right? I didn't become a track star for a month and a half, and so I'm just excited to be here.
That's awesome. Now, you talked about the quick turnaround and some of the I guess the routine that you continued into. I mean, how tough is it to extend that a little bit further? Because you've played a significant amount of college football leading up to this. The 12-team playoff threw another wrench into it.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year, hey, you got a chance to play in 16 games and you get a chance to go to the Senior Bowl and compete with the best of the best, I don't think I would hesitate in signing up for that, right? Like, that's what you want to do as a competitor. Like, that's the best thing. You get play national championship and the Senior Bowl. Like, that sounds like the best year of football ever. Yeah. And so very fortunate to be able to do that for sure.
I think such a big part of your guys' run this year was the defense and yourself and Leonard Moore and guys around you, Xavier Watts in the secondary. And your defensive coordinator, too, Al Golden, just got hired by the Cincinnati Bengals. Saw him at practice yesterday. What did he do well schematically that you feel like is going to be able to take your game and translate it to the NFL level?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Coach Golden's defense and the scheme that we were running, like, we had answers for everything. Our playbook was so deep, but at the same time, like, guys knew it inside and out. Guys were able to play fast with clarity and violence. And so just having answers, being able to pull from the bank that we had, and then, also to have the guys to be able to execute, right? We played a lot of man coverage this year. Can't do that if you don't have the guys to cover. And that frees up, and it allows you to get creative up front, in the front seven a lot. And so just very fortunate and learned a lot of ball under him and super excited for his future, but very appreciative of what he's done for me.
Yeah, a lot of rich history at Notre Dame. Nobody in the history of the program has played more games than you, though, Jack. 70 games. The experience, did you expect to play 70 games whenever you arrived on campus? What was it, 5 years ago?
No, I mean, I cheated. I like to say I cheated. I got the COVID year and was able to use that. So hopefully that never gets broken because that means we're in another pandemic. But
true.
No, it was super special to be there and to have my whole career there and see the people come and go and just there's so many amazing people at Notre Dame and the history and the tradition, and know that now you're a part of that, like your name's in that. It's pretty special.
And then talking again about the 16 games from this past season, I mean, NFL 17-game schedule now, so it's basically kind of jumping into a routine. Do you feel like you'd be better adjusted for the NFL schedule as a result?
Yeah, I think, I proved I can be there for the long haul, right? Like, I can go from July 30th all the way until, mid-January of playing football. In this case, February, and that's an NFL season. It really is. And so I feel like I proved I can be a pro, take care of the body, be available every single week. Like, that's hard to do. And so I think that certainly gives me edge of, I've done this before. It's not my first time. I'm not going to be mentally exhausted out of the bat.
Now, the Cowboys have certainly dipped into the pool of Notre Dame linebackers in the past. Maris Leofau, of course, on our team now. He had a great rookie season. I mean, what was your connection with him like during his time up in South Bend and playing alongside big number 35?
Yeah, Maris and I were in the same class, and so it was really cool just to kind of go up together and get better and develop with one another, and then to see him, have such a great year this year and to talk to him every so often. And now he's back in South Bend and got to see him in the facility. And so it was just really cool to see him do so well excited for him, and he's only going to get better. He's the type of the guy that's never going to stop working.
Now, we've got a lot of film buffs that watch this show, and a lot of them are Cowboys fans specifically, so they know what Maris Leofau brings to the table. How does your game differ than what he did?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Maris, like, he's a big guy, lengthy, he's explosive, very dynamic player, right? He's going to get the ball out, like, he's a playmaker. I have that, like, in my own way, but at the same time, like, I feel like where my game, where I have the advantage is, like, my preparation and my pre-snap reads and just seeing things on the field, seeing receiver splits, seeing formations, what's the tendencies here, down distance, like, kind of processing all that, putting it together, and then being ready to recognize it and play fast when the ball snaps.
How tough is that to do in an event like this where there's so many different guys from so many different systems, and then it's a new system on the other sideline that you're trying to kind of figure out both in practice and then another one coming up on Saturday in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's different, but at the same time, football tendencies are football tendencies, and they still show up here. A receiver who cuts split outside foot up, he's going to crack. Like, that's this kind of stuff that you see in football, and you see it here. And so it allows you to still play fast. And then we're watching film every night. Like, you pick it up as the week goes. Oh, this is what they're doing this week, though. This is how they're, adjusting. This is what the offensive scheme is. And so you learn, and then, by the end of the week, you're playing really fast and recognizing that stuff again.
A big part of this week, too, is not just the stuff on the field, but what you do off the field, meeting with NFL teams. How have those meetings gone thus far, and what have some of the feedback that you've gotten from, whether it be front offices, scouts, coaching staffs, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, meetings have gone great. Just been able to, sit down, kind of share my story, who I am, and then obviously talk about football and talk about the season we had. And I'm very fortunate, with Maris coming out last year and J.D. Bertrand coming out last year. They kind of laid the groundwork where, like, these teams know what a Notre Dame linebacker, can do, and what system we come from and what we've been exposed to. And so a lot of those questions, like, they kind of already have answered them for me. And so that's been awesome. But just trying to sit down, show them who Jack Kaiser is and what Jack Kaiser has in store and what my strengths are.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we got on the air. You're from a small town in Indiana, about 800 people. Just talk about your upbringing.
Yeah, so Indiana kid, grew up in a small town, grew up on a farm. The family in total has about 1,000 acres, so corn, soybeans. Grew up, out in the fields driving tractors, and then we had some animals in the summer, and pigs, goats, chickens, like everything you can think of. I was the youngest of 4, and so I always got the short end of the stick in terms of jobs. Hey, you go up in the hay mound, or you throw me up on the roof and I have to clean the gutters or stuff like that. But yeah, it was just, learned how to work hard at a really young age, and certainly bring that in my everyday life and of course in football.
Notre Dame fan the whole way?
We would watch Notre Dame, would root for Notre Dame.
I got you.
But being farm community, everybody roots for Purdue. That's the ag school.
Makes sense. Okay.
But at the same time, like, Notre Dame's Notre Dame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And so, when they were on national TV, you're rooting for them for sure.
That's awesome. Now, how exciting is this time period for your family, the family of 4, like you talked about, and how close-knit you guys were, to watch you take this rise not only to the national championship but now to the NFL?
Yeah, it's been the whole journey through Notre Dame in high school just has been really special. But especially this year and kind of the ride we went on and be able to share that with my siblings, my parents. My parents be able to go to every game, and my siblings be able to get to the home playoff game or to the Sugar Bowl or Orange Bowl, and then finally to cap it off and have everybody at the national championship is super special. And then to know that they get to watch me on TV this week on the NFL Network, that's pretty special, and know that they get to share in that experience for sure.
It's an exciting time, Jack. We appreciate you taking some time, sitting down with us. Good luck the rest of the way. We're certainly fans of your work already. A lot of people watching the show certainly like what you've done so far. You got a bright future ahead of you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Jack Kaiser, Notre Dame linebacker, joining us here on the Draft Show. We've got plenty more coming your way momentarily from Radio Row here at the Reese's Senior Bowl 2025 in Mobile, Alabama.
Here we go.
Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Oh, that's funny. It's punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood hood.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Welcome back here to Radio Row, the draft show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time. We've got Tommy Yarrish, Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Youmans. Now we've got Olumuyiwa Oladejo. Did I say that right? Almost.
Oladejo.
Okay, so there's a Joe at the end. Okay, good to know. UCLA linebacker joining us here. We just talked with Jack Kaiser a moment ago, and the linebacker position is so versatile now in the NFL. Tell us what you feel like your strengths are and what you're bringing to the pro level.
Yeah, great question. Like you said, I think versatility is the name to the game. Being able to do multiple things in the scheme, whether it's playing off the ball linebacker or on the ball, or third down pass rushing, or just playing the run game off the ball or on the ball, striking, playing physical. So I think having all those assets with physicality, violence, explosiveness, just makes a great player.
And you can see that in your practices. You can see that in your film as well. How's the week been so far for you, getting to interact with some of the best players at each of their positions?
Man, it's been great. It's been a blessing. It's a great opportunity just to compete with the best and to really try to make a name for yourself. I think I've had 2 okay practices. Some I say has been really good, but I still know I can do more.
It's been really good in my opinion. I'll say that.
I second that.
I appreciate it. My voice is going right now because I've been so energetic and excited and yelling and just having fun. But it's been awesome, man. I had great conversations with great people and networking and just making opportunities, man. And the people playing here are, I said yesterday, future Hall of Famers. So it's been a blessing.
Kyle kind of mentioned it a second ago, but with your versatility, that's something that pops out on film and it's popped out in practice. Whether it be on the ball, off the ball, where do you feel like you're at your best, and in terms of where you're playing and what kind of situation you're playing in?
Yeah, I'm meant to be on the ball, by all means. I know I played Mike my first 3 years in college and my first 3 games of my senior year, but the transition was a natural one, and it's one that should have happened a long time ago. But I'm just want to play ball at the end of the day. But I believe I'm most efficient and effective on the ball.
And so what about that transition? Like you mentioned playing middle linebacker for the first 3 years and the 3 games this year. Mm-hmm. With that smaller sample size of real game action in college, how do you feel like you've grown already, and how do you feel like that's going to translate to the professional level?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think, the first thing I really had to get down was just the pass rushing art. I got to learn over the few weeks that I first transitioned there that, it actually is an art, it's a craft. The one thing that would always help you in that area, though, is just motor and effort, but to some extent comes being a mastermind and playing chess, not checkers. So I think for me, just continue to improve my pass rushing, continue to improve my technique, and I just continue to polish it.
Every year there's probably about 3 or 4 guys that come here and they really stamp their stock and have a great week. I'd put you in that category right now as far as what you've been able to do in one-on-ones and pass rush situations. How much prep has gone into this game specifically over the course of the last month? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm training in Dallas, Texas right now at Exos, and great coach, Coach Brandon Tucker. Just giving me great advice. And also shout out to my coaches at UCLA, Coach Malloy, Coach T-Dub. They've really helped me a lot to be prepared, yes, for this moment, but just overall everything coming in front of me.
Shout out to Big Tuck. Last year, Lyle Tulatu obviously went through this exact same process. Was there anything you were able to kind of peel back from him and kind of see what that process is like before jumping into it?
A little bit. Didn't get to speak to him too much, but me and Latu actually from the same area.
Okay.
I played in my high school my sophomore year. He was dominant. I tied in, I tied in, but yeah, I mean, I got to watch a lot of film on Latu and get advice from my coach who coached him about this process.
Another guy that at least just, of course, we know very closely that played off ball quite a bit in college, figured out a little bit of the pass rush, was able to take that to the NFL level, goes by the name of Micah Parsons. How much have you watched him and what he does well at the NFL level, and maybe some of the other guys that you've modeled your game after? Yeah,
man, Micah's he's a great player, explosive, dominant. But he was actually probably the first player I started to watch.
Wow.
When I transitioned to edge. It was him and Latu, actually. I watched Latu's practice film because I had access to it. And then I watched a lot of game film on Micah Parsons.
Yeah. What did you see that stuck out, and what do you feel like you kind of mirror from his game?
I think Micah can rush from any place on the field, whether it's on the guard, on the center, or the tackle. Yesterday, I rushed on the guard, the center, and the tackle. So just trying to, find the best matchups and just be more athletic than the man in front of you. He's twitchy, he's explosive, he knows what he wants to do, he has a plan, and he's just aggressive.
This year with UCLA moving to the Big Ten, I still don't know if that sounds right to you, because it still doesn't sound right to me. It's going to take some time to get used to that. But the conference as a whole is known for how strong it is the line of scrimmage on both sides. And not to say the Pac-12 wasn't that in your time there, but what did you realize about some of the newer teams that you played and some of the newer faces that you had to see on the other side there?
Man, I truly believe football is football. What you put in is what you get out. Everybody's human. So the conference changed. It wasn't really like a, oh my gosh moment, at least to me. And I don't say that out of arrogance, but just confidence. But I think, like I said, everybody's human, man. Like what you put in the weight room is what you get out. If I'm working the man next to me, I'm going to get results. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great transition, in my opinion. I think it helps UCLA because it shows we can compete. Despite our season, I think we really should have won 3 games that we lost. But I thought we competed. I thought we showed that we can fight. And I know Coach Walsh is going to change the program up there.
I want to dive a little bit more into being able to rush the passer from anyone on the line, whether it be at zero tech or at wide 9. What would you say? Some guys obviously are better fit from pass rushing in the interior because they're shorter. They're better in those kind of, close confines. And then the wide 9, it's getting the bend. It's finding the explosion around the edge. Where would you say, why are you good at zero tech, and then why are you good at wide 9 if you were to be lined up in those 2 different situations on a pass rush down?
Yeah, so a situation I would be in is, third down, third and long, 3rd and 7+. But I like the center. I like the center and the guard. They're not the most. They're probably the most unathletic guys in the field. Respectfully, but,
we have a former center on the show back at home, so we'll have to be sure and tell him that. Shout out to Brian.
Gotcha, Brian.
But, yeah, so it's just like you can beat him with speed, but then if you're a powerful guy, which I believe I am, I can sneak in power on you and still bull you. You know what I'm saying? So it just gives you the best way, and it's the shortest measure to the quarterback. This is faster than coming from the edge, so I can get there now.
As far as being out, if you're lined up at a wide 9, trying to create that bend, and obviously having the experience at off ball, having to get used to that, what would you say you put in as far as flexibility, dexterity during the week, and training the body to be able to do things like that? Because it's an awkward movement. Like if you're not used to it, it takes some time to kind of get around and figure out what that edge rush looks like.
Very true. Yeah, I mean, I think for myself, like I said, with Coach Malloy and Coach T-Dub, working that bend, working the hoop bend, working, sinking the hips and staying low to the ground and inside toe facing where you're going. So just working a lot of extra reps and just continuing to polish my game.
So a very technical process all the way through.
Sure, sure. I mean, a lot of it I think was natural, but now to, go from good, because I think our natural is good, but to go from good to great, you got to work on the technique.
I will say one thing just over this conversation. Your energy is infectious. And so I can see that on the field. I can see that through your work and your tape all the way through. We're excited about getting to cover you over these next couple of months through the NFL draft. But what would it mean for you to end up with a star on the side of your helmet and rush alongside guys like Micah Parsons that you've watched in the past?
It'd be a blessing, man. I've been saying for the week, wherever I end up, whatever 32 teams, it's a blessing. But Dallas specifically kind of funny because I'm actually like 7 minutes away from the star right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm living in Plano, so down the street, it wouldn't be much of a move. But it'd be awesome, man. Obviously, great history around the program. One of my former coaches, Ken Norton Jr., great legend. Shout out to Coach Norton. He played there, obviously, won a Super Bowl with them. And it'd be awesome. It'd be incredible.
No doubt about it. Well, good luck the rest of the week here in Mobile and for the rest of the draft process as well. We'll be keeping a close eye on you.
Awesome. Pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Olumuyiwa Oladejo joining us from UCLA. I got it that time, right?
Yep, you did.
Okay, good. Sweet. I just wanted to make sure. The nickname that we heard coming up was O2, so maybe that's what we're going to call you from now on. Yep. O2 here on the Draft Show. We've got more coming up from Radio Row right after this.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Here we go. Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was one that said that.
Oh, it was funny. It was punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Welcome back here on the Draft Show. And with all the orange that we've seen around here for the Reese's Senior Bowl, it's only fitting we talk to a Clemson Tiger wearing some orange as well. We've got Jake Briningstool joining us, the tight end from Clemson. Jake, it's been a great week so far for you. What's been the key to having the success that you've shown on the field at Hancock-Whitney?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it has been a great week. I think for me, I just got to, stay consistent. I think it's been a great week so far, but I think just continue to go out there and show what I can do, continue to, show who I am off the field, and just continue to build off the opportunity that's come my way.
We've talked a lot about the trenches on this show throughout the week, and the pass catchers certainly have shined pretty bright along the way, but that's tough to do in a week like this when you're catching passes from new quarterbacks, you're running routes in new systems, you're trying to do some new things. What's been the biggest challenge for you throughout the week of practice so far?
Yeah, like you said, it is a challenging week. It's a busy week, but I think, it's been a lot of fun. This is the best in the draft class, like they talk about. Just being able to compete with these guys has been a lot of fun for me. It's been a cool opportunity. I'm thankful to be able to be down here. Also meet with a lot of teams and be able to just showcase the type of player I am, type of teammate I am. The man of character I am. So I think it's just been, a lot of great opportunity, and I'm thankful to be here.
Yeah. You mentioned it briefly there, but meeting with the teams is a big part of this week as well. What have those meetings been like, and when coaches or scouts or front office staff are giving you maybe some constructive criticism on what they've seen on film from you or during practice this week, What's some of that been, and how are they telling you that you can get better?
Yeah, I think I just got to learn how to transition into being a pro. I think college football, it's a lot different. So just being able to transition into being a pro, carry myself like that, 24/7 on and off the field. I think, it's been a lot of great information that they've given me, but just being able to, take the coaching, take the criticism. Sometimes something I learned at Clemson was just you don't want to listen to the message, but don't listen to the tone, but listen to the message. And just being able to, gather all the coaching I can and try and get as much better as I can, as quickly as I can.
Dabo Swinney's produced so much NFL talent in his time at Clemson. You'll be the latest example of that. With his history and seeing guys jump from his program to the next level, what has his mentorship been like, and what are some of the things that he's taught you that's helped prepare you for that process?
Yeah, Coach Swinney's great. I think the way he runs his program, the culture that he's created, was a lot of things that attracted me to be able to commit there out of high school. But I think the man of faith that he is, the way he, loves his players, the way he cares about his players. I think I'm an example of that. He says he's more worried about the 30-year-old version of yourself more so than what you can do as a college football player. I think he cares about us genuinely. He wants us to be great husbands, great fathers, something I aspire to be one day. So I think, just growing as a man, growing in my faith, I think those are the coolest things that, are the beneficiaries of going to Clemson.
Dive into some sicko stuff here. The tight end position is the most unique one in the game, just because you find yourself doing just about everything offensively except throw the ball. You're going to pass protect, you're going to run block, you're going to catch the ball. Sometimes you might even carry the ball. From your perspective, I think a lot of people know you're receiving next because you got the length and you're able to do that downfield. You're able to do that in short quarters. As far as your overall game and things that don't show up in the stat sheet, what would you say stands out?
Yeah, I think I bring a lot of versatility to an offense. I think I can create mismatches outside. I can also compete and make a difference in the run game. But I think something that's different about me, I think just the type of teammate I am. I'm a competitor. I'm going to compete every single day. But I also want to build guys up, build confidence in them. Ultimately, we're all on the same team, striving for the same common goal.
Where does the competitiveness come from? Siblings growing up, or parents, or playing video games with friends? What's that come from?
I would say it's a mix of all those. I got an older brother, so I definitely learned at a young age, just having to, compete, always, just having fun with him. And then, like you talk about the video games, I love playing the game with my friends. I'm really close to my roommates and teammates back home. So just, anytime we hop on there playing NCAA, Madden, whatever it is, I always want to win. So, it doesn't really matter what we're doing. I just want to win. And I kind of carry that same mindset onto the field. And, that's just how I carry myself as a man, just throughout everything. So, it's been, like I said, this week, it's been a great experience. But, yeah, no, I think I'm just most thankful for the competition and, the type of guys I get to do it next to.
We have a lot of fans that watch this show and a lot of listeners that love watching film, and they've seen what you can do from a receiving ability. What's your mindset when you're blocking, when you are trying to pass protect, or you are trying to run block, or trying to lead the way? What's your mentality that you've taken throughout your career?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to being physical, having a willing mindset. I think I do have that. I think I'm a willing blocker. I want to do it. I think the most rewarding feeling as a tight end, especially in the run game, is just when you and all 5 offensive linemen are all on the same page, and then the running back gets an explosive play. Sometimes the tight end position is kind of an unselfish position. You got to kind of, do some of the dirty work. But I think the reward for another player and ultimately putting points on the board is, very rewarding.
And to kind of build off of that, if you were to have our fans go back and watch film, there's plenty of games for you to watch as a receiver where you've played well as a ball catcher, but if you had to give them a game where you feel like you dominated as an inline run blocker or an inline pass blocker, can you think back to a game where you feel like you did that really well?
Yeah, I would say go watch South Carolina tape from this last year. I think we handled them up front.
That's a good front.
They had a really good defense, but I think we had a good game plan going into that game. Shout out to those guys on South Carolina team. They have played a good game. They got the better of us. Nothing negative against them, but I think we did a good job getting our job done, and we played well.
I believe you told me yesterday that you met with the Cowboys this week, correct?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you remember anything from that meeting? I know you've had a lot of meetings. Do you remember anything from that one specifically?
Oh yeah. It was really good. Just opportunity to be able to sit down with them and kind of just showcase the type of man I am. Show them how I carry myself off the field. I'm more so than just a football player. So just being able to let them get to know me, get to know my personality, get to know the type of teammate, type of leader I am. So I think just being able to, in a short time span, be able to let them know the real me.
Yeah. Do you know much about Jake Ferguson, or have you modeled anything in your game after him?
Yeah, I think he's a great tight end. I think he makes a difference for you guys in Dallas. But I think the coolest thing is just for me having an opportunity to be able to go compete with these type of guys. I think these are the best players in the world at this position. So just being able to be a part of that, going into the NFL as a young guy, I want to be able to just learn from guys that have done it at a high level. Pick out anything I can learn from their game, kind of implement it into my own way and kind of put it in my own toolbox.
Yeah, and I think Andrew Booth is the only Clemson Tiger in the locker room, so might need to add an extra. Might need another one in there.
Yeah, along the line. Booth's a good dude for sure.
He's funny, man. He's funny.
Jake, you mentioned the well-rounded side of your game, and you're going up against some of the guys that are also well-rounded during this week of the Senior Bowl. But throughout your entire collegiate career, including the practices so far, who stands out as a guy that you've matched up against that stands off the page for you?
I think there's been a lot of great talent here. I think a couple of my favorite dudes I've enjoyed watching. Walter Nolan. I think he's done a really good job, and I think Deion's also done a good job. And then on the offensive side, Jack Besh has had a really good week. And then Jackson Dart I think has done a good job as well. So I'm just trying to continue to build relationships with those guys. We're going through the same process together, so just talk to them about kind of what they're going through, kind of what I'm going through, and kind of just help each other out the best we can.
Man, it's a fun tight end class. It's a fun Senior Bowl group, and you're just right there in the middle of it, and you make it fun for us to cover on a daily basis. So we appreciate you taking some time and talking with us about the future. We're excited about your future. Good luck for the rest of the week.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Jake Briningstool joining us, the Clemson tight end here at the Reese's Senior Bowl. More to come from Radio Row. We're just getting started here in Mobile, Alabama.
Here we go. Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Oh, that's funny. It's punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood, hood.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
We've talked all week to some of the stars of the Reese's Senior Bowl here on Radio Row in Mobile, Alabama. I welcome you back into the draft show alongside Tommy Yarrish, Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Youmans. We're now joined by, at least on social media, the star of the Reese's Senior Bowl so far through the first 2 practices, Tez Johnson from Oregon, wide receiver. Tez, it's been an incredible week for you. The social media clips are surfacing. They're blowing up of you having some success in the one-on-one periods. What's this whole scenario, this whole event been like for you so far?
Well, first off, I'm back home in the first time in 2 years, so it looked a little different when I hopped off the plane. But it means a lot because coming down here is just one of those things like you want to showcase why you're one of the best in the country. You got the best of the best here from DBs, D-line, quarterbacks, so you want to be able to have that factor about you, like how can you separate yourself from these guys out here. So I definitely took it with pride and wanted to come out here and just showcase why I'm here.
You took that both figuratively and literally of how to separate yourself from the other individuals out there, because you built plenty of separation throughout. What's led to the success on the field? Was it film work, preparation going into it, the workouts, or what led you to having this success this week?
I'd definitely say my preparation through the entire day, like how I'm going to prepare for today, like, or throughout this whole week. How can I separate myself from every guy here? Like, for example, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock before everybody here wakes up. Like, I'm one of those guys that's going to be going over my playbook and being able to know the plays before I get out there. Why is the quarterback doing this? Why am I doing this right here? And I take it with pride. Like, I want to be able to separate myself from a lot of people because, like, it's a eat or be eaten game out here. So, and the type of receiver I am, you have to be. And like I said, I take it with pride, and I never take anything for granted when I'm here.
You've been eating a lot, I would say, so far through these first 2 practices. But when you watch your film at Oregon, and especially here in practices, just at the line of scrimmage, you win so fast with your footwork and just getting out of the breaks quick. What is it about your skill set that you feel so strongly about in terms of what you can do early on in those first couple of steps to make a defensive back either flip their hips or make them decide on one way that you're going so you can win the route early?
It's a chess game between me and a DB. So I know a lot of things as far as, like, why DB is doing certain stuff. Thankful to my coach at Oregon, Junior Adams, Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, and Tyler Lockett. So, and TJ Usmanzada, because I train with him at L.A. right now. So when I walk up to a line, I see what a DB is doing. If he's a lot, like, on his toes a lot, I know he's finna try to get hands on press. But if he's on his heel, he don't want to be deep at all. And if he's just flat-footed, his hips is locked, he can't turn the other way. No way impossible you can get there. But I know those things before I even get to the line of scrimmage, and I know what I'm doing, and I know how to win. And it's one of those things that I've always been able to do. I was always shifty, but before I got to Oregon, I was just running past people. When the ball in my hand, that's when I'll be able to be a playmaker. But it definitely changed when I got to Oregon and being able to know coverages, know DBs, and know how they finna play. And a lot of people played a big role in that for sure for me.
You talk about this game being eat or be eaten. The game of life can very much be the same exact way. Growing up in Pinson, Alabama, I'm familiar with your story, but to people who are maybe not familiar with your story growing up, what was that like for you, and then being taken in by the family of Bo Nix and everything like that associated with it?
When I was a sophomore in high school, like, obviously I was a bad kid, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people was hard-headed when they was a kid, but now I was a little bit extreme. I've definitely leaving my bio family to go with the Knicks. It was definitely a big change because I was scared to death. I didn't know it was, like, how it was going to be. But they took me in with open arms. Like, they didn't know a kid from a can of paint, and they welcomed me into their house. And I was like, okay, this can be good for me. And throughout that whole time, I'm watching Bo from a distance, like, all right, this is how he talked to coaches. This is how he prepared for a practice. And this is why he do this on a game day. And I took it like, okay, I have to do that. I never told him that because, like, I didn't want him to be, like, pressured at the time where, like, look at me in a different type of way. But pretty sure, like, now that I came out with it and said it, he's going to definitely hear it. He's one of those guys I tried to model my game out there, even though I was a receiver. Like, he used to go out at 6 o'clock at night, me, him, and Dad, and just go catch. But I didn't want to because I'm like, bro, it's 6 o'clock at night. We got school in the morning. Like, my hands is hurting. I didn't used to catch the ball very good. I used to just drop a lot of passes, but I progressively got better. My first game, junior year receiver, I played against Hoover High School, George Pickens. And that's when I literally saw a guy like, all right, he goes up and grab a ball. I'm like, ooh. That's when I knew George Pickens was really like one of those guys that you don't want to mess with as far as guard. But I did have a pretty good game, and I was like, okay, I can play this game. But now I got some more stuff to work on. And I knew that at a young age. Yeah, it was just one of those things. They took me in and wanted me to be a part of their family, and they just did it out of love. So, yeah.
And then even coming out of high school, people were still doubting you. You had to go the G5 route, going to Troy and proving yourself there. Going into that opportunity, how much of that did you want to make of it to end up at a program like Oregon and succeed?
I didn't know I was going to Oregon at all. Like, because out of high school, when they didn't offer me, I was like, okay, my dreams is not going to be what I always thought.
So Oregon was your dream?
Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
gotcha. Yeah.
Like, Oregon was my dream school to go to no matter what. I was not going to Alabama. I wanted to go to Auburn with Bo and play with him, but it took a different route. So when I got to Troy, COVID year happened, played that year. We got that year back, played 3 years after that, and it's like, okay, I'm really good right now. Like, my skill is a little different from the guys at Troy right now. Even the coaches knew. They was like, hey, you're one of those guys that you can take a chance on yourself. Even the fans. And towards the end of the season, me and my dad started talking about it. I was scared to death to hop back in because of I thought it was going to be another narrative like, hey, your size difference. Like, I thought I was going to, like, Houston or, like, Louisville, Memphis. Because I text Boone, like, hey, you think Oregon will take me? Him jokingly saying, nah, probably not. Whole time he was recruiting me.
See a hater at heart?
Like, I was like, man, really? All right, so now I'm going to go to Memphis and show where I belong in any school. Because I remember I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and Tennessee told me literally over the phone, said, hey, you too small to play in the SEC. And that was a chip just laying on my shoulder. And I wanted to play them first round of the playoffs so bad. I did want to play them. But it's one of those things when I entered the portal and when Coach Adams called me, because I never got a Cali area code, call my phone ever, and Bo coming home from Birmingham with his wife, Izzy, and I answered the phone. He was like, hey, this is Coach Adams from Oregon. I'm looking like my mom's sitting in this area right here, and I'm like, oh, hey, this is what Oregon coach called me like right now. And before I know it, I put it back to my ear and said, hey, Coach, I'm committed. He
even offer you? You were just like, hey, what's up? I'm committed.
I'm like, you don't have to say anything else. And that's when the video come out when Bo's saying he's coming back. So I was like, okay, you had something up your sleeve. You didn't even tell me. But definitely, I was like, oh, yeah, we finna shock the world because nobody really know that we brothers. Like, we're legitimately brothers.
Yeah.
And nobody knew that when we got to Oregon. A lot of people was like, that's your brother for real? I'm like, yeah, that's my brother. Because I think it was one practice. Nobody's finna say nothing to Bo far as like talking back to him why you finna do this, but brothers we argue like, like, no, you can do this right here. I'm gonna be there. Just throw it, like, you know what I'm saying? And everybody was looking at me like, you can say that to him?
It's like this new guy's talking crazy.
I'm like, this is my brother. He's not like he's not God, but this is my brother. Like, it's one of those things that I know how to get the best of Bo, and he definitely know how to get the best of me because we both competitive. So it was one of those things, like, when it happened, I was like, there's no way I'm up here playing with my brother right now in Oregon. Because it was definitely a dream come true for me, and it started coming out like, this kid is really like a true Oregon fan, and they started getting the proof and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, there's no lie in none of these stories. It's definitely I'm a diehard Oregon fan.
That's one of the coolest draft stories I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
And of course, you now have the chance to go to the NFL and have success just like Bo did. I mean, what was it like watching him succeed in Denver and really take the world by storm? You talked about the doubters from your own element. He had some doubters, too, and he silenced a lot of them.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I was like, okay, this is how he's going to be in the first, like, game. I knew I know Bo, like, I knew, like, the back of my hand. I was like, okay, it might start off a little slow this season, and watch how they doubt him, and he's going to come back and just be like, they're going to be like, oh, wow, this kid is really good. And sure enough, it happened. Because I was at the first game in Seattle when he played him, and it was different. It looked like when he was playing at Auburn because of the colors to me, and it was just different because it was an NFL team. You didn't really know what you was going to get. You didn't really know what was going on. So when he got to playing and started knowing the offense, started getting, like, really, really deep into it, because I know Bo, like, he going to be up there all night getting it done, and whoever is around him going to get better because that's who Bo is. He makes your team better.
Yeah.
And sure enough, towards the end of the season, like, he's one of those guys, like, Rookie of the Year type of thing. So, yeah, for sure, I definitely knew it was coming. I never had one doubt in my mind about it because I always used to joke about him. Like, like, when we played Kansas City, he didn't text me, though, because he know I'm a Kansas City fan. He didn't text me at all. He was like, I think I wanted to text him, like, hey, like, go out there and ball. He didn't text back. He
knew it.
He knew. He like, you're a Kansas City fan. Don't even. And, yeah, so because when I was at the Seahawks game, my girlfriend actually works for the Seahawks, and she had an internship that just ended. She does sports entertainment there. And I didn't get a ticket from Bo. I got a ticket from her. So there's one of those things, like, you got to be there. If you're going to be at the game, you there for me. And obviously I was cheering for Bo, but
sure.
I was on the Seahawks side, just sitting there cheering for Bo. Like, and I was so tickled because the Seahawks fans knew, like, that was my brother, too.
Oh, no.
So they was letting me have
They got
it.
after
I was
you.
like, yeah.
12th man up there, man.
Yeah, they was
They're
like, oh, this
ruthless.
is his brother right here. I'm like, oh, man, they done figured it out.
Tez Johnson, wide receiver from Oregon, joining us. Before we let you go, of course, this is the Dallas Cowboys draft show, and you talked about your connection with Oregon, your connection with Bo in Denver, Seattle. I mean, you've got a connection with Dallas, too. You've got some friends and family that are Cowboys fans. What would
my oldest brother is a Cowboy fan, diehard Cowboy fan. Every time I play him with man, he played the Cowboys. Like, since I can remember, he's been knowing the Cowboys. And he's one of those guys that's like, bro, the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. No matter what happens, they are winning the Super Bowl. Like,
it's my type of guy.
I'm like, bro, like, I used to tell him, like, hey, bro, like, sometimes you just got to be realistic with yourself. Like, sometimes. And he was like, don't worry, they going to draft you. I was like, hey, look, I was like, hold on, don't you say that and it could happen right now. I don't know, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, I think it's going to happen, and I know that it's going to happen. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, if I go to these Cowboys, he going to be at every single game.
You're going to have to get tickets for him every game, pay for it, jersey. You may as well move him in.
And he's definitely one of those, like, he's going to be in there, jersey on, hat on, like, Cowboys down to the socks. I'm like, okay, if I go to the Cowboys, bro, I promise you, I'm going to get you sideline passes.
There you go.
So I definitely take care of him when I get down to the Cowboys.
What would it mean for you to be a part of the lineage, such a rich history at the wide receiver position in the franchise? Of course, most recently, CeeDee Lamb and what he's done. What would it mean for you to be drafted by Dallas?
CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys that you watch because he's special with the ball in his hands, too. And you got what's the returner name?
Turpin.
Turpin. Okay, Turpin was one of those guys that I watched too because he can take a kick return back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, that guy is really good. And then you got Dak there that's been there for a while and really do good a lot because I think a lot of people hate on him and he's a really good quarterback to me because he does what he does. And sometimes, like, a lot of quarterbacks don't have success. It's an up and down game, like, you know. But the Cowboys are really, really great franchise and just down to earth. And I know they hate the 49ers. Like, it's one of those things. Like, if I play for the Cowboys, I'm going to hate the 49ers.
Good. We love that.
But yeah, I love the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is one of those things that guys I watch. And if I play alongside of them, I know it's going to be a duo that's untouched in that match, for sure. 100%.
Well, Tez, we appreciate you taking some time. We know you kept you a little long, but we love hearing your story. Love watching you on the field, and we can't wait to watch you throughout the rest of the draft process along the way. We've got a lot of fans back at home that are excited to watch you wherever you end up through the 32 teams in the NFL. Appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Tez Johnson, Oregon wide receiver, joining us. You'll catch him on the Reese Senior Bowl field for the rest of the week. All right, when we come back here on the Draft Show, we wrap things up, and we take a final preview, a look at the Senior Bowl this upcoming week. Plus, we talk about the recent news of the extension of Will McClay in the front office. More to come with the Draft Show right after this.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Here we go. Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe?
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Oh, that was funny. It was punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Welcome back into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time, and Tommy, Nick, that was probably my favorite day of interviews.
Absolutely.
The Tez Johnson interview at the end. Great job on that, Nick. Just kind of outlining his story and the Bo Nix connection, the background there. But all four of those guys were tremendous, and I hope fans at home really appreciate the stories behind the players that we are scouting, because yes, we understand it's investigate and educate. There's a lot of film that goes into this show. We can tell you more than anybody, but at the same time, these are also guys that are trying to get to know these players as a person and as somebody behind and off the football field as well. And I thought we got the chance to do that throughout the week.
Yeah, I was contemplating telling him that I was like one of the OG Bo Nix haters, but
did you hear me sneak that question in?
Yeah, I did.
I totally snuck that in for you.
I was going to get to it, but he was talking a lot.
I was waiting for you to like lean forward.
I looked at him. I was like,
he was talking a lot, which was great. It's obviously phenomenal for the show, and he got to tell his story. But if I had a moment in there, I would have taken some accountability. I would have been like, look, man, I will tell you that I was one of Bo Nix's original haters, but I have since come to the light, and rooting for Bo.
No, it was a great interview, and I mean, even Jack, you had Jake from Clemson, you had Jack from Notre Dame, and then O2, baby. He was awesome, too. That energy was incredible along the way. But one thing we do have to hit before, of course, previewing the final moments of the Senior Bowl going into Saturday, but the Cowboys have extended Will McClay since we last recorded a show from out here, and we got the chance to talk to Will yesterday, talk to Steven as well. This is big news for draft fans out there, keeping that same continuity. We've heard that word a lot this offseason, but this is a good level of continuity to have Will McClay around for the next 5 years.
Yeah, Stephen Jones told us yesterday that the Cowboys, with the hire of their new head coach and Brian Schottenheimer, and with retaining Will McClay and bringing Matt Eberflus back, that they're looking for a mix of continuity and a mix of change, right? And Will McClay is a step in the continuity direction, and it's a step that they needed to take because of the amount of success that he's had in his tenure with the Cowboys. Now, I know you can look at the last two drafts and maybe say, hey, I don't think those worked as well as maybe Cowboys fans thought they would. But at the same time, you also have to look at his entire track record and his entire history. These guys can't get everybody right. Nobody can. Yep. That's just unreasonable to ask of a front office.
Process.
But they have hit on a very high clip. And I think you have to give him credit for that. And I think Will McClay is one of the best in the game in doing that. And I think the Cowboys recognize that too. So Nick did a good job yesterday getting the 5-year deal scooped in terms of it's a 5-year extension. So that's through the 2030 draft, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So you've got him through the 2030 draft. And I think that you've got some young pieces to build around, and he's brought those guys in. He's got a chance to do it again here. We talked with him earlier in the week, and he said that this draft class is full of depth guys and guys that you can maybe insert into a 2-deep. And when you look at how the Cowboys fared this season with so many injuries, that comes glaringly important. So I think this is a great move from Dallas, and Will very clearly, he literally said it, I wanted to be here. Yeah. I wanted to be here, and now he is.
Yeah, the quote that stood out to me was it's the same quote there, Tommy. He said, I wanted to be here with the crew and what we've built. I have always stated that when I got here, my main goal was to be a part of something that gave us an opportunity to win another Super Bowl. I've got to continue to do that, and I got to do my job better. Getting the opportunity to do that with these people is extremely important to me. And I think, Will McClay, obviously, I think he's one of the most underrated front office personnel in the entire NFL, only because he's been in this role for so long here with the Cowboys. But But, this is the place he wants to be, and I think he made that pretty evident, not only by signing this 5-year extension, but in the interview that he gave us yesterday. He could go be a GM somewhere.
Yeah,
and he has had teams interested in him in the past to potentially even interview for a GM spot, and he hasn't even taken any interviews. Dallas is where he's been since I believe 2000. This is a spot that has been comfortable to him. He went to Rice. Texas is a big part of what he does from a scouting perspective as well. It's a huge win for the front office. It's a huge win for the Cowboys to go ahead and lock him up for the long term. The college scouting has clearly taken a big step forward with him leading since 2014. I mean, you look at all the Pro Bowlers and all pros that he's had, whether it be Zach Martin or Tyler Smith or Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb in the first round, or it could be day 3, day 2 guys like Dak Prescott, Deron Bland, Jake Ferguson. I mean, him and his scouting department have done a phenomenal job. Granted, I think you're right, Tommy, these last 2 drafts have not been up to the standard, but it's something that with Will McClay and his department, the good ones are going to come.
Well, and that goes back to what Tommy was saying and what Stephen Jones' quote was yesterday of the continuity and change. There are good things that this team has done, no doubt about it. I mean, the 15 Pro Bowlers under McClay's tutelage, and then what Mike McCarthy did to win the 12 games over the 3 years in Dallas showed that they can have success with some of the place holders that they have on this team and in this roster. However, there's other things that need to change. This was not an area like that. This was not an area that needed to change. Something that needs to change is running the football better, or playing defensive line, or having that front seven better. And they've had some different hires throughout the last couple of days that have gotten there too. But I think for this audience and the draft show, nothing was more priority first than signing Will McClay long term. And now the guessing game is almost over. We've talked about this on the draft show throughout, where what is the next plan? What is the next thing up? And where are you going to go? Because you didn't know who your head coach was. You didn't know what the future was around Will McClay. Now you know both of those answers. And we can start kind of honing in on what is important, especially in an event in a week like this where it's the prospects. It's trying to get the best guys. And that's what I asked Will yesterday. I was like, we talked about alignment quite a bit, from the front office down to the very small parts of this organization. And he said, I think we're in alignment now. And I asked him, what's the next domino then? You had the coach. Now you're signed. What's the next domino? He said, let's get some good football players in here.
Yep.
And let's go win some games. And I feel like that's now the focus, which that's why, aside from locking him up long term, that's why this was a smart move to get it done early. Get it done before there's any guessing game going into the combine, going into interview times or whatever he was going to end up seeing in terms of his interest. Will McClay is going to be here for a while, and now you can focus on getting good prospects to come and help Brian Schottenheimer have some success.
No, absolutely. And I think it was interesting yesterday, too, when we talked to Stephen Jones, that he kind of gave us a little bit of insight in terms of what they may be looking for. To start with the offensive coordinator position, it's a process that's ongoing. They're working on it as we speak. You can expect that to probably get wrapped up here soon, since they want to build this staff quickly. But he was mentioning that they kind of looking for a guy who checks the run game box. So whether that be a former offensive line coach, a former running backs coach, and then we've got a coaching tracker that Patrick Walker is working on DallasCowboys.com, so you can read that to be up with the latest. But I think that's really important, and that's crucial, because you look at some of the offensive linemen here and the running backs here that we've talked to, and it certainly can make sense why somebody like that would fit into Dallas's scheme. And he said, we want to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
We want to be able to run the ball. Dallas did not run the ball well at points last season, so it makes sense that they want to do that. And the run game's going to set up the pass. Brian Schottenheimer said that he wants play action to be part of his scheme as a head coach and as a play caller. So all of that starts with running the football, and right now Dallas needs help up front and in the running game, at the running back position, I feel like, to be able to do that effectively.
So does that mean Ashton Jeanty at 12 is confirmed? Is that what we're talking about here? Or
if he gets there. If he gets there, that's going to be a really tough prospect for not only this new head coach, but this front office to pass on.
I would agree with that.
We've talked about this running back class, and obviously you can get a really – I was talking with someone here in Mobile a couple nights ago, and we were having the running back conversation, right? It's like, okay, well, Genty's value potentially decrease in the first round because of the running back class, and teams feeling like, hey, yeah, Genty's phenomenal, clear RB1, but we can go get a guy on day 2 or day 3 and be very comfortable with that. And that guy told me, he was like, yeah, but how many dudes are in the class? He's like, there's probably only 2. And I don't know who he thought the second one was. And he's like, if you feel like you can get one of those dudes, go get one of the dudes. Especially if, first-time head coach, bringing in, an offensive a playmaker, offensive difference maker. That would certainly be Genty. I think it's a fascinating conversation.
It really is, and it's going to continue on further as we go along. And the thing about Ashton Genty, too, is when you spend that 12th, if the Cowboys had already solidified everything else around them, I think it would be a no-brainer. Done, but there's so many other positions that are going to be there. I still think best player available is very much in play, and we haven't even gotten to at least some resemblance of free agency that we're going to see. Mm-hmm. If there is any action in free agency or not, that's still yet to be seen. However, right now, I think best player available, which very well could be Ashton Genty at that point in time, whenever he falls to the board. All right, the Senior Bowl is on Saturday. We've got the Shrine Bowl coming up tonight at AT&T Stadium. Anything that you guys are looking for going into a busy week now that we've had the practices in the books, moving into what is going to be a couple of big games along the way?
No, I think it's always important to see these guys in game environments now, right? Like practices and all that is one thing, but now you get to see them play in the game, and that's where you get to see the competitive nature and all those kinds of things like that. So we were at the Shrine Bowl for a couple of days, and there were some standouts there, Kyle. A lot of the attention goes to the Senior Bowl, but I thought there was some good players. I thought Isaiah Naylor, the wide receiver from Nebraska, had a really good second practice. Issa Pole, guy who's not really talked about too much, but a tackle out of Washington State. I thought he played really well. And then a local Dallas area guy, R.J. Mickens from Clemson. He was fun to talk to and fun to see around. And then Taj Brooks, the running back from Texas Tech, one of the most productive guys in this class, considering what he did all 4 years in Lubbock. He basically shattered every rushing record they had out there. So a lot of guys to watch tonight, and it was fun watching them in practice, and now we get to see them in game action too.
Yeah, excited for the Shrine Bowl. I'm going to head out of here and get on a flight so I can get back in time to catch that at AT&T Stadium tonight. But, I think with these game environments, like you said, Tommy, obviously the game environments are where you can draw a lot of stock from. But just building consistency. A lot of these guys, it's tough on the first 1 or 2 days of practice because you're playing with all new teammates, especially like in the receiving game. Like the rhythm with quarterbacks is always going to take a little bit of time to figure out. But now that we're getting to Thursday and then to the game on Saturday, you start to see what consistency looks like and guys that can adapt really quick. And that's what you need in the NFL. You need to adapt as soon as you hit the field, whether that be in rookie minicamp or training camp. You can look at the Cowboys case last year and all the rookies that eventually had to play. You talk about Amaris Liufau. He adapted super fast in a role that I don't think we would have anticipated this time last year. I think we were probably talking about Maris as a 5th or 6th round pick at this point last year. So, it's definitely a lot that you can take from these kinds of environments, and surely the 32 scouting departments are looking at it.
No doubt about it, and we've had a lot of fun here on Radio Row here at the Reese's Senior Bowl. Keep up to date with everything on DallasCowboys.com. We'll be back on Tuesday to break it all down for you on the Draft Show with our full cast ready to rock again for you on Tuesday and Thursday next week back at the Star in Frisco. Once again, special thanks to Chris Beam, for Scott Purcell for setting all this up. Beam back in studio, Jasmine Marshall, Paul Bastidas back there, everybody that's a part of this, because there's been a whole cast of crew that's helped put all this together and what has been a new thing we've tried here this year, and I think it's gone very well.
Oh, you worked out.
Over the course of the week. I think it did too. We'll probably do some of this more so in the future as well, but we had a ton of people that had their hands on this one all the way through it. Tommy Yarrish, Nick Harris here at the Senior Bowl. I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Mobile, Alabama. We'll see you on Tuesday with more of the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!